All right. So
What's up,
this
brother?
is this is Warrior Barbecue out of Pico Rivera.
Yeah, Pico Rivera.
Yeah, Pico Rivera, California. And so tell us about how you got started. How did the bug bite you on the barbecue?
The barbecue bug bit me on YouTube, actually. Um,
Okay.
I spent a lot of time on YouTube, and I stumbled across, I want to say it was Malcolm Reed's How to Barbecue Right videos. And I started watching his channel, and I started watching Cooking with Rye, or I think that's his
Okay.
channel. And so I started, like, it planted the seed. I didn't have a smoker, I didn't have any charcoal grill or anything. I had a 4-burner gas grill. And um, so I started watching videos, and I was intrigued by it, the process of it. And so I just, I got my
225.
yeah,
Is that the West Coast Pitmaster shirt?
yeah, I got it
Yeah.
in the mail like a couple days ago. Um,
Nice.
so I started watching those YouTube channels. Was intrigued. Last July, the 4th of July, um, Greg, my neighbor, he he was like, "Hey, let's do cook," and I was like, "Cool, I got this trailer here. Let's cook on that." And so we did our first cook, and I didn't know what I was doing. I watched a bunch of YouTube videos, so I kind of had an idea. He cooked on charcoal before, but he didn't never smoke anything. So we gave it a whirl, and it started there. And then so my birthday's a couple days after 4th of July, and so I told my wife, "Hey, I want the smoker." It was the Next Grill offset smoker. It was like within my price range at the time, so she bought it for me, and then that's where I started. My first cook
Nice.
was Chinese.
You're pretty young in the barbecue scene, and
Yeah,
like you said just last year. I mean,
yeah, it was a year ago
uh,
coming up,
okay. Wow.
but I've
Most
done.
guys I interview, they wet their feet with their mom or dad, or their dad mainly in the backyard. So that's kind of
Yeah,
cool to see. How old are you, if you don't mind me asking?
I'm turning 32.
32. Okay.
It's
So 31 years, you were cool, and then all of a sudden, all of
yeah,
a sudden, you got bit by the bug. And
a bit
so kind of
hard.
walk me through, yeah, I've seen your stuff. So we're going to talk about that right now, your equipment. So kind of walk me through how, like, what you were thinking and kind of the progression of you buying your grills and stuff.
Um, so when I was cooking with my offset, um, it was so as I progressed in cooking or smoking, and as I became more knowledgeable, I realized that I was doing things the hard way, and so that kind of pushed me into like buying a different grill. Um, when I bought my offset, my neighbor bought his, and then we were kind of like bouncing information back and forth, trying different things, trying different methods. Um, he then upgraded to a Weber Master Touch,
Okay.
and he just was crazy about it. Like, this thing's awesome. It's holding temperature way better than I can with offsets. So it kind of pushed me to go find something like that. So I hit up, OfferUp, and I jumped in, found like Weber Performer for $75, and then started smoking on that. Um, and then it just kind of progressed from there. It was, I found another one and another one and another one, and then
Right.
I ended up having like 10, 11 grills at one point in my backyard.
Right.
And and each of them, like I said, I have different accessories to my Webers, and I use them for different things, and they're fantastic. And the trailer actually put away, and this is the first time it's been out all year, and
Okay.
so I cleaned it out, and because I started to get intrigued with like so I pretty much I went from Weber kettles to my Weber Smoky Mountain and fell in love. And I was
Okay.
like, Weber Smoky Mountain is amazing. And then it jumped from Weber Smoky Mountain to I wonder how like real wood offset cooking tastes like. And that's where I'm at now. It's like, okay, now I want to start like taking that adventure. And I kind
Right.
of progressed in my meats as well. So I stood away from brisket for a very long time because for me, I was intimidated by it. It's a finicky cut of meat, and it's big and it's costly, and so I didn't want to didn't want to spend a lot of money to screw up, a big cut of meat. And so, in my mind, I told myself I'm going to do ribs, and I'm going to master ribs where I can throw them on any of my cookers and get a great product.
Right.
I just sat there, and my wife, she likes ribs, but
so
she's like, this is really good, but I can't cook them like 2 days in a row because she'll just
right. Yeah, one of my buddies, when we started getting into competitions, he wanted to, head up the rib category. So we're like, all right, go for it, and so he was, man, this dude must have cooked ribs, 2 racks of ribs every day for like 2 months straight. And his, it was a homemade Hunsaker drum he made. And he just cooked and cooked and cooked to where he could not mess up a rack of ribs.
Yeah, that's pretty much where I'm at right now.
And his wife's the same way now. Like she don't want to. She don't even want to look at a rib.
Unfortunately, I'm taking my wife. So I graduated. Chicken was a breeze. After doing ribs, chicken's just super easy. And I was like, okay, well, chicken's easy. That's done. I guess we're on to brisket. And my neighbor's like, you just got to do it. You just got to get over the hurdle. You just got to screw up your first one and then keep going.
Right.
And so,
I would suggest you go to a pork butt first.
Yeah.
Because the cook is really similar. The only thing, the pork, you're good. The pork butt is way more forgiving than the brisket, right?
Yeah, it is.
So if you do the pork butt first, maybe if you could find just some brisket points. I know some places will sell just the point. Yeah. Not a lot, but some places. And you just buy some of those points and cook those points like you would cook the pork butt. Get used to that because the flat is the hardest part of the brisket.
Yeah,
it's
literally it's the make or break part of the brisket.
Yeah, it's the pain in the butt. So let's say a long lost uncle comes your way and he's a millionaire and he drops a blank check. He said, "Barbecue Warrior, go out and buy 3 pits. It don't matter the price. It don't matter."
Give me like that.
Yeah, he's just gonna give you a blank check and say, "Go buy 3." What are you going out and buying right now?
I'm gonna buy a trailer offset for sure.
Okay.
500 gallon, just
like the Texas style ones, the standard flow,
like
Moberg,
like a Franklin
primitive pit style.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
There's a few, I don't want to like name drop, but there's a few out here in Southern California that make awesome looking.
Yeah. I mean, you got Fat Stack Smoker out of Sun Valley. You got S&G. My one of my good friends just had one made by him. Actually, the first 500 gallon he made, it's actually a really good friend of mine. That's G's Barbecue, G's Barbecue Co. And then
and there's a handful. There's a lot.
There's a guy here in Costa Mesa.
Yeah.
Oh, it's Costa Mesa area. Harper's.
Okay.
My other good buddy, the one that did the rib thing, he's getting one made by Harper's right now, 500 gallon. So there's that guy out in. He's way out in I did a podcast with him already. KG. Oh man, his name is Kenny Martinez, but he's out in the desert.
Yeah, he's out in Hemet. Actually,
he's the one that built that little one for me.
I started talking with him. He's a really cool dude.
Yes. Really nice guy.
I was doing machining and kind of dabbled in some small fabrication welding kind of projects, and so I was kind of like talking to him, just kind of, talking shop, and really cool dude. Built some really great stuff, and he even works on other projects if you're trying to improve your smokers or you're trying to make like adjustments here and there.
Yeah,
his work looks really, really good. Really knowledgeable dude. Yeah, there's a lot of smaller people getting into the barbecue making or manufacturing barbecue.
Yeah, there's a guy here in Cypress. His name is Joey Rooster. Joey Rooster 13, I think that's what he goes by. He might have changed his name on Instagram recently. He built my 80-gallon offset, standard flow offset, just a little guy.
That thing's sweet. I haven't seen it in person, but I've seen pictures of that thing, and every time I see it, I just kind of drool over it.
Yeah, and he originally made him and SG, the SG Metalworks guy. At one time, they were building together, and so they both made the first Heritage barbecue offset from Heritage Barbecue
Yeah.
here in Orange County. So
Yeah. They're
anyways, so you buy a 500-gallon offset. What else would you buy?
500 gallon. If I'm doing number 2, gosh, and I got all the money in the world. I mean, it's hard because I really, as far as charcoal burners go, or charcoal smokers, it's a toss up between another Weber Smoky Mountain or a Gateway drum smoker.
Okay. Okay.
I've never cooked on a Gateway drum smoker, but those two are kind of the leading cookers in competition cooking. So, or at least from every video I've watched, and from every, and I've watched a whole lot of videos. Those are the kind of go-tos.
Gateway has a relationship with Blues Hog, and Blues Hog is well known in the competition world. And then they sponsor a lot of competition cooks out there. So that's why you see a lot of Gateways, is because they're actually sponsoring guys that are winning and stuff like that. So they look like nice cookers. The only barrel cookers I've seen personally up front in action is Hunsaker drums. I really liked the fit and finish of them. I never cooked on one, me personally. When I was doing competition stuff, I was mainly cooking on. I was a chicken guy, so I was cooking on like a small hasty bake smoker. But the drums are. What's up, Madtown? The drums are very, very cool, very easy to run type of stuff.
I like the Gateways because they have the air control valves on there, which is really cool because I know like the pit barrels don't. They have where the hanging rods go. That's those holes. You can't really control it as much. Or you don't have as much control, I should say.
Right.
I know they're steady. I know they're really steady. I know my cousin has one, and he doesn't complain at all. So I know that it's a great product. But I do like the ability to adjust.
The other unique thing about the Hunsaker is the air valve for them. It's at the bottom of the cooker, so it doesn't really wind and stuff like that. Really doesn't throw them off when you're cooking, like they might on the other cookers that have that air valve more up and accessible.
Yeah.
And you just use this little thing with your foot to adjust it, and it's got a level thing on it, but. Okay, so you buy a 500-gallon, you buy a drum of some sort, whether that's WSM or a Gateway.
Yeah.
And then
the third would probably be in the Kamado world. Kamados are too expensive for my blood, but it'd be nice to have one. I'd probably dabble in that. They seem super steady. I watched a lot of videos and watched reviews on the different Kamados. The Big Green Egg is,
what's up, Kevin?
It's been around for a while. But the Kamado Big Joe,
that
one's probably the one I would go for.
Okay.
Because they seem like they've kind of shaken up the Kamado world a little bit.
Oh yeah, they have.
Like Big Green Egg, it looks like a great quality product, but Kamado or the Kamado Joes looks like they kind of made some improvements in some areas that were lacking in the Kamado world, so that's probably where I would go.
So
none of those are a pellet grill. I'm sorry, pellet.
It's all right. Hey, everybody's on their own level, I contribute. I kind of think as Kamado Joe is kind of what Rectech did to the pellet industry.
Yeah. Like
Traeger and GMG and even Yoder, they just sat on their technology and didn't improve it. Nothing forever. Now here comes Rectech. Like them, hate them, whatever. They come in and they make the same product, better materials, thicker metals and things like that. But then they start hitting the technology sector big time, and they start improving the technology of the smokers. And then now all of a sudden, Traeger, Yoder, GMG, they all have to adjust now and start to do the same thing. And I look at Kamado Joe as the same way, the different systems they have for inside their smoker and the different levels and things like that. They've definitely shaken up the Kamado world.
Yeah, they have, and all for the good. That's that's the beauty of capitalism.
We benefit from that stuff.
Exactly. It produces a better quality product, for the consumer, and it really pushes companies to go beyond, their comfort zone,
Right.
things up. So those are the three. I mean,
Okay.
probably
So, where do you want to? Where would you like to take this barbecue thing? You want to just stay backyard? You want to do pop-ups? You want to just do comps? I mean, what would you like to do?
I've been talking about that for the last couple of days now. I honestly, I really would like to get into the pop-up world. I'm dabbling in kind of researching, talking to different people about how or what kind of loopholes you have to jump through to get into that world, what it takes.
Okay.
I like the convenience of backyard barbecuing. Being able to cook food and then deliver a product to people that roll through. I mean, that just seems really comfortable. But I'm watching big people like Moose Craft Barbecue, Heritage Barbecue, doing really big things in the barbecue community down here in Southern California.
Did you ever go to Pearls when Pearls was open?
Mm-mm.
And no, they were in the Garment District, and they were like, I forget the Trudy's was like the first cooking out of the house and people stopping by and buying it. And Trudy's, I think they eventually got a brick and mortar and they had to change their name a little bit, but Pearls kind of jumped that step, and they had this kind of like a permanent pop-up in the Garment District, and they had a 1,000 gallon fat stack smoker, and it was really good,
Yeah.
But it was hit and miss. My buddies went one time. They said it was the best they ever had. That they took me one time. You could totally tell it was a reheat.
Oof.
And it was hit and miss. And then they had a little bit of a business fallout. They moved places. They were at another spot for a couple months, maybe 6 months, and then it ended up closing down. And one of the guys that was cooking for them, his name on Instagram is ALGS or something like that. And so he still does little pop-ups, and he's still cooking. And if the food is, my buddies went and tasted his food, and they said, yeah, it was legit. It's really good. So, the pop-up scene is interesting. There's a little bit of drama behind it of like guys that have brick and mortars that rat on people and things like that. But
yes, he's out of Lakewood, right?
yeah, he's right here in Lakewood.
Yeah, he's the fat stack smoker too. I think he just got it recently.
For
a while.
I'm not sure.
Upgraded or
I thought he was using a Joey Rooster pit actually.
Oh, I don't know. I'm not sure what pit he uses, but I know he cooks offset. I do follow him on Instagram as well, and he does. I think his name's Alec.
Alec, yeah.
Yeah, he does pastrami brisket and
pastrami
ribs.
Beef ribs, yeah.
Looks phenomenal.
Yeah, they do. They do. All right, so we'll start to close down a little bit. Actually, the interview. The next part of the interview is I want to ask you, what do you enjoy cooking the most for yourself or for your family, and kind of what's your process in doing that?
Honestly, I love ribs. Ribs are awesome. Ribs are good. I mean, I've cooked so many, I've eaten so many, but still to this day, when I went live with you the other day, and they're amazing.
What's your preferred brand?
Preferred brand in ribs? I go to Costco and I just pick up a 3-pack.
Okay.
I think it's Smithfield.
Smithfield or Swift?
I think it's Swift. You're right, Swift.
Okay.
And like I've heard people talk about different quality of meat and stuff like that, but I stick with what is affordable, and you can't really beat that 3-rack for I think what I pay at the business center, it's like $17 to $20 for 3.
Okay.
If I buy like a lot of them.
Because they always have that one rack in the middle that you can't see. That's a little. Yeah, it's a little jacked up.
The little baby rack. They always have because you can tell I don't know if ribs naturally taper, but I feel like the way they're butchered they are, and they always have like a really thick one. They always have like a really thin one. I prefer the really thick ones. My wife actually likes the thinner ones, which is kind of fun.
Okay.
It's probably because they have less fat in them. She's not a big fat eating person. I tell her that's where all the flavor is, but she doesn't believe me.
Okay. Right.
Yeah. No,
okay. So,
give
us a an example of your method, if you want to share what rubs you're using, kind of your method, temperatures, and things like that.
I run mine at 250. I crank it up a little bit as the cook progresses. I usually hold 250 steady until it's time to wrap, which is usually about after the second hour. They're usually pretty good. They're getting there. So the first hour I check on them just to say hi, and then the second hour I'm really looking for that.
What are you looking for? Like, what are you looking for?
I'm looking for color, the mahogany color. I'm looking for bark formation. I grab them, I pick them up. I'm looking for them to split a little. They start getting or bend. If I pick them up and they're still rigid, I know they, I'll put them on for another 15, 30 minutes and then go back and check them again. I try really hard not to open my cookers. If I do get fluctuations in my temperatures, I try really hard not to make huge adjustments. I don't know if you have any beginners on your channel, but I've learned over time that it's okay if your cooker spikes a little. You can always make adjustments, but make an adjustment and then go sit down and sit there. And sit and wait 15, 30 minutes. Unless you're cooking with a pellet grill. If you're cooking with a pellet grill, then you don't really have to worry about stuff like that.
Right.
But if you're working with like a cheapy offset, or if you're working with a Weber kettle or anything in that spectrum, like a charcoal wood burner, don't freak out. I've cooked ribs at 300 degrees, and they came out, great. So make a small adjustment, then go sit your keister down for 15, 30 minutes and see what it does. So I make my own rub, and Malcolm Reed has a video up, and he had a guest come on. I don't know if they manufacture rubs, but either way, they talk about rubs, and I've kind of searched around the internet and found a recipe, and then I took that and then I kind of made it my own. But it starts with the basic, like paprika. I don't put salt in my rub. I like to control my salt. So I take salt out, and then I do like a salt pepper base layer first, and then I add rub on top.
Nice.
So I do it that way. But it has paprika, pepper, garlic powder, onion powder, chili powder.
What's up, SG?
We're just talking about them.
Yeah.
You guys make awesome cookers. Love your guys' work.
Yeah.
Beautiful. Gorgeous.
I'm trying to get him on, do an interview with him too.
Oh my god. Dude, if you do, that's awesome because work is phenomenal. So onion powder, garlic powder, pepper, paprika, cayenne.
So you like the powder rather than the granulated stuff?
I get what I can get. I got granulated garlic. A lot of like the other spices I think they're in powder form. I get the coarse ground pepper just because I like how it looks on ribs.
Well, I'll give you a little tip right here, okay, on the ground pepper.
Yeah.
The coarse ground pepper is what you want to do brisket with.
Oh, yeah.
And they say, the experts, Aaron Franklin, the Texas guys, is that pepper actually, the smoke sticks to it better as it's flowing by. And so that's a big part of building the bark.
Oh, that makes sense.
Is that coarse?
So the smoke doesn't roll over it.
Right. So I run like a straight 40, 60, 40 kosher salt, kosher sea salt, whatever, but something coarse. And then 60% the coarse black pepper. Typically I'll buy it from Sam's Club or Restaurant Depot.
Yeah.
Sometimes you could...
On my briskets,
yeah, and that's going to help you tremendously with the bark, and how the bark will set up and catch that color, and that deep, a lot of people that don't know brisket will look at it and say, oh, that's just burnt, you just burnt that, and you're like, no, you don't understand. I worked hours.
Hours.
Like I trim the brisket, I season it a certain way. I do certain things to get that look, like, I've had
people, I've given them a rib, and they go, it's pink in the middle. It's not done. And I'm like, I have to tell them, like, okay, this is the temperature it's safe to eat. This is the temperature I'm taking it to. We are way beyond them being done.
Chicken too. People would trip out when chicken, like,
chicken.
You can't use cherry wood with chicken, even though it tastes phenomenal when you're feeding the public.
Yeah,
because people just trip. Like that cherry wood gives it too much of a red tint, and people just trip on it. Like,
yeah,
oh my goodness, this ain't cooked right, you know?
yeah, they freak out, and
Yeah,
I'm like,
and you're like, dude, I cooked this, you know, a chicken thigh. I'll take to 175, 180. Like,
yeah,
you know, what
yeah,
you're looking at is
and the thighs
a
will take
product,
it. You know, the thighs
right?
you can take them well above where they're supposed to be, and if
But
anything, they get better.
when you're feeding the general public, they just look at it, they see a tint of redness, and they think automatically in their head, like, oh, it's not done, you know? All right, so
Yeah, salt, pepper, frozen briskets. You know what I did is I took my rub and I removed all the sugars out of it, which it just leaves you with basically, because on my rib I had sugar, brown sugar, and granulated honey.
okay.
I didn't even think I threw mustard powder in there. And I could give you a list of spices to use, all your viewers out there, but go and play with stuff. You know, try it, write it down,
Yeah.
and then
And that's probably like my weakest area. My weakest area is rubs. I don't mess around with them. Brisket rub is the only rub I make myself. Everything else, I buy a rub I like or a rub that works, and ribs and everything. You know, I got bottles of every rub manufacturer you could think of.
Yeah, I can justify the purchases, honestly.
Yeah, and that's the difference. Like, I'm charging people money for my food, so
yeah,
I'm gonna work that into the cost, you know.
Yeah,
but
me, I figure out, like, I cook, 2-3 times a week, so for me it's cost effective just to buy the stuff and try to make it,
Yeah.
I just picked up a bunch of rubs from Coach's Pit Barbecue, and he hooked me up with some other rubs, and I smelled them, and I was like, because I basically give rub away to my neighbor. And I was like, hey, because he went with me, and I was like, hey, smell this. And he goes, dude, this smells just like your rub. And I was like, yeah. I'm like, and then I mess with it so much. I was like, I could smell it, and I could smell things that are common in my rub and things that are not.
Right.
And so I was like, oh, if you want a little heavier here or heavier with this spice than this spice, cumin's a big one. You can usually smell it.
Yeah, you can. You can.
And so, but yeah, like, go have fun, dude. And like I said, I went and found a recipe, and then I started adding things and making adjustments to measurements. But I mean, you can grab everything and do equal parts of everything, and it'll probably be good.
Yeah. Right.
Make adjustments, and I started off with a rub that my uncle makes, and it's a really good rub. Now I've played with a little bit more rubs, so I know it's more of like a beef rub than it is you can put it on anything. We put it on chicken, we put it on beef, we put it on pork. It's a great rub. But it has like textures that I don't like on ribs, so I use it more for like tri-tip. And I've been experimenting because tri-tip's it's a really fast cook, so you can put sugar on tri-tip and it won't burn. So I've been putting my rib rub on my tri-tip, and it's awesome. So
yeah, your tri-tip, have been looking very cool, very cool.
They're getting better.
I just seasoned up a bunch because that's my 4th of July cook. So
yeah, I want to see this here now. I can't wait.
All right, so I guess wrapping this up, let people know how to find you on all the different platforms you're on.
Yeah. I'm on Instagram at warrior_barbecue. You can find me there. I haven't made a Facebook page. I have a personal Facebook page, but I also have there's warrior_barbecue on Facebook. I am going to be open to the public. If you want to try my barbecue, just hit me up. And you're in like the Pico Rivera, neighborhood. And yeah, I put a lot of time and a lot of effort into perfecting my ribs. I specialize in ribs and chicken at the moment. When I get brisket to the point where I feel comfortable handing you a plate of brisket, and then we'll get there. But yeah, come check me out.
Well, I want to personally offer, like, if you want to watch somebody, or if you want to come here and do a hands-on demonstration of trimming the brisket, my place is open. I've had somebody come before. I'll leave that in your ballpark, but I'm not the best. I'm not the best trimmer. I know what I like to get out of the trim and everything, but if it helps you in any way and you want to do that, just let me know. We'll schedule a time. We'll pick up a couple briskets at Sam's Club and we'll trim them up. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I can't wait to get down to your place, check out your stuff, and actually do a cook with you. Just kind of learn from each other. I mean, I'm pretty sure, I already talked to you about rubs. Like, I would love to go down there and share with you some of the knowledge that I picked up just from developing my rub, and and I still have a lot to learn. I've only been doing this for a year, and I put a lot of work and effort and time into it, and there's still a long way to go. But yeah, I can't wait to start getting it more into the community and learning from people that have been doing it way longer than me. So yeah,
that's essentially that's what it's all about, is passing it on, passing the knowledge on. If I can help somebody, that's great. A lot of people have helped me. They probably don't even know it. You know what I mean?
Oh, yeah.
Through these videos and through these things, people have helped me. They don't even know they've helped me. Like, it's incredible. And if I can help somebody, I always want to be open to doing that. So
there's no secrets in my book. I'm pretty sure somebody out there that's already done it. I mean, there's people out there that have done it better. And so for me, it's barbecue brings people together. It really does, and it brings so much happiness and gatherings, and and that's what it should bring. I know some people hold their cards close to their chest, but
those are mainly the competition guys. They're always trying to have that leg up. You know what I mean?
Yeah, and the funny thing is, like, I was telling my wife, I was like, I would, at this point with like ribs, with ribs, I wouldn't mind going into competition. I feel like I make a great product, and it's repeatable, and
Fountain Valley,
I love it.
Fountain Valley.
Yeah.
Last year they had a barbecue. It's almost like a fair. It's like a 3-day fair.
Nice.
And the last day of it, they did a backyard rib comp. So just, the backyard, you could sign up.
Oh, awesome. I would love to start there.
So I was going to, and that's the place to start, because I tell you, once you get beyond the backyard stuff, you're talking about $1,000 to compete. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Just not
some of the money that they spend on just the meat alone.
Yeah.
It's outrageous.
Right. So I'm going to, I signed up for it already, but I haven't seen whether or not they're going to do it. It's usually in October. So when I find something out, I'm going to pass you along the information. Okay.
Or maybe I'll just roll with you, and maybe we'll,
That's what happened last year.
Or whatever. When we would just hang out together.
Yeah. One of my buddies wanted to compete, but he really wasn't comfortable yet. Yeah. He said, "Hey, do you mind if I just come and tag along with you?" I said, "Fine." I went out. I took one of my PKs out, and I created a little diverter system for that little thing, because I didn't want to bring a bunch of my equipment out there. So I just took a PK out, and the cook went way faster than I practiced. I think I was done cooking the ribs in about 1.5 to 2 hours on the PK. Nice. So then, but now I got like 4 hours. I got to hold them. I threw them in my Cambro, and I just prayed that they just stayed hot until I could sauce them and finish them. Took 3rd place, so I was really happy. And so anyhow, not to get off track. So I'll let you know about that information, and if you want to tag along, that's cool. I'm praying that they actually still do it, and it's not one of those things they're going to shut down. So all right, man.
There's a lot of chatter about competition cooks right now with everything going on in the world, and so I know a lot of people are kind of like, a lot of events are on the fence of whether they should do it or not. I know some of them got canceled or pushed back, and so I'm excited just to jump into the community and meet a lot of good folks out there. It's been awesome, It's been fantastic. So,
all right, bro. Thanks for talking. Have a great day. Okay.
Great time. You too, Dano.
All right.
All right. Bye.
Bye. All right. That was, and I already forgot what episode of The Cut I'm on, because it's been a while since I've done one. So thanks for watching. That was warrior_BBQ on IG, and like and subscribe. And if you would like to be interviewed and put on YouTube, there ain't nobody too big and there ain't nobody too small that I'll interview. Take care. God bless you. Peace.